Hey guys, it's Lee, and today we're going to talk about how to cut your expenses. If you're new here, I make videos on budgeting and other topics around money. And also, just to let you guys know, I'm not a financial advisor, but I've used these same tips to help pay off nearly $50,000 in student loan debt and also save to purchase a home as well. So these tips work really well for me, and I'm hoping that they're going to work really well for you too. So let's get started. So before we talk about how to cut your expenses, first we need to figure out where your money's actually going. And the way that you can figure this out is to just basically log into your bank account, take a look at your transactions, and then you want to ask yourself, are most of these transactions more wants or are they more needs? That's going to be the first thing you want to do. The next thing you want to do is create a budget. If you don't know how to create a budget, I have a video on how to create a budget. I'm going to leave that up here and also in the description below so you can check that out. Okay, now it's actually time to cut your expenses. I thought it was really important to highlight those two things first because first of all, how can you start to cut your expenses if number one, you don't know where your money's going, and then number two, you have no idea what your entire financial situation looks like. So the first way you can cut your expenses is with food. And yes, I know if you're like me, you love food. That's the first place that you can actually look to save money. So the first thing you want to do is make sure you cut out eating out. And I know that if you're like me, you love to eat out. And so you want to completely cut that out of your diet. And instead, what you want to do is you want to prepare your meals at home ahead of time. Maybe you want to prepare meals for a few days at a time. That's going to do two things. It's going to actually save you tons of money. And then it's also going to save you tons of time when it comes down to cooking and cleaning and all that kind of stuff. The next thing is groceries. So let's face it, we have a ton of control over our groceries, but most of us, we just go to the grocery store and we buy what we want and that's it. But it's not really the best way to approach grocery shopping because obviously you're leaving a lot of money out there that you're just spending and you don't have to. So what you really want to do is you want to actually budget for groceries. And if you don't know how to do that, I have a video on how to budget for groceries. I'll leave that up here or in the description below so you can check that out as well. But basically it's going to show you how to actually budget for your groceries so that you can minimize how much you're spending at the grocery store while actually still buying quality food as well. The next thing you can do to cut expenses is to find a roommate. Having a roommate can actually have a big impact on your expenses, and by having one, you can really cut down your expenses by a lot. Now, yeah, of course, you're going to be giving up some space and things like that, but in the long term, it's going to really help you out. The other thing is that you can have a roommate for just as long as you want to. When you're tired of living with a roommate, you can just go ahead and move and not worry about it. Another thing you can do is consider moving. So you can go and rent in a more affordable area, or maybe you can sell your home and purchase a more affordable home somewhere else as well. Maybe you're downsizing, maybe you're getting a smaller home, but that's also going to help you to cut expenses. And you can use that extra money for other financial goals, paying down debt, or for savings. The other thing you can do is to sell your car. So I know that sounds really crazy, but when it comes down to it, let's be honest, guys, Americans spend a ton of money on cars, and a lot of times the vehicle that we choose is much more expensive than our income, our budget, or our lifestyle when it comes down to what we can actually afford. So one thing you might want to do is actually get rid of your car altogether. If you can actually take public transportation or maybe do biking, etc. to work, that might be a good idea. And if you can't do that, what you might want to do is sell your car and buy something cheaper, and then you can hold on to that cheaper car for however long you need to, and then you can always trade up to a more expensive vehicle or a nicer car a little bit later. The next thing you can do is cut your cell phone bill, and so that might just mean downgrading your plan. It might mean selling your phone, getting a cheaper phone. It might mean switching services altogether, but I'm pretty sure that if you look at your service that you have, you might be able to save some money by doing one of those things. Another thing you can do is cancel subscriptions. So some of us have Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus, and some other subscription plan out there when it comes down to streaming services. You can cancel all those things if you actually need to, and maybe cancel a gym membership and any other sort of subscription services that you have. So maybe you don't need that box of wine delivered to you every month, but you can definitely cancel those subscriptions and save yourself a lot of money and cut those expenses. The next thing you can do is be smart when it comes down to your utilities. So let's be honest, when we were younger, our parents told us to cut the lights off and not to touch the thermostat, right? So this is kind of the same thing, except for now this is up to you, right? So when you're not home, make sure you cut out all of the lights, turn off anything that you're not actually using. That can help you save money on your electric bill. In the summertime, maybe you want to have your thermostat set higher during the day because you're not home, and maybe a little bit lower in the afternoon or at night when you are at home. That way that can save you some money. In the wintertime, you can do the exact opposite. You know, during the day, keep everything a little bit cooler. In the afternoon, keep it a little bit higher. That way you're comfortable when you're at home as well. Personally, I use a Honeywell thermostat. I program it and I set everything up and I don't have to touch it again. Also, I heard Google Nest is really great too, so I'll leave those in the description below if you want to check those out, because they might be a great option for you to help save money. So there you have it, guys. Those are some great ways to help you cut your expenses. I hope that these tips helped. If you like this video, go ahead and hit the thumbs up sign. Also, don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you can, leave me a comment below and let me know the best tactics that you've used to actually cut your expenses as well. And I'll see you guys next time.